He says there's understandably been a lot of talk around the offensive line heading into the season, especially at tackle. It feels reminiscent of the talk headed into last season, and we all saw how offensive line play subsequently failed to meet expectations. Do you get the impression that Newsome and Moore's evaluation of the state of line play is more accurate or more positive than last year, or do you think that the lack of portal pursuit is ultimately more due to the market being too steep for high-level offensive line players?
I think it's B, and I think it's unfortunate. And I said this about the quarterbacks last year, that they needed to go to the portal and get somebody. And I will say that again about that. If there's an undoing to this offense this year, it's going to be the fact that they didn't go out and land a couple of these guys. And basically what it was the price for these guys. We'd heard like million floor, right? For some offensive linemen who were good, but not elite. So, but I guess it all comes back to where you're allocating your funds. And I think what they would argue, I know what they would argue right now, is that they had to pay a little bit more money just to keep their guys here, fellas, in the spring so they didn't have a whole lot left over to spend. I thought they would add a receiver. There was one in particular that they had their eye on. I thought they would add at least one more lineman. And, at the end, they were talking about adding a corner. So, and I don't think any of these things are going to happen, and certainly not to the level that's going to help elevate your team, not even like an Amir Hall, right? So at corner. But so I think it is the latter. I think they're going to roll with what they've got. I hope it's not a mistake, because I am not bullish on this offensive line, and I hope to God they prove me wrong. And this is not being negative. This is just calling it like we see it, guys. And if Evan Link is your left tackle going into next season, and I love his effort and I love how hard he plays, to me, that's a major concern. I'm not convinced that they are good enough at center, with all due respect to Greg Crippen. And Gio El-Hadi better have a really good year. I know that I think he won Lineman of the Year last year, which surprised me. I thought it should have been Miles Hinton probably. But they need better play left to right. When the guy that you feel the best about is Andrew Sprague, I think a true sophomore next year, then to me, it's a little bit of a red flag.